What is up, everyone? Boshi here, back at it in Raid Shadow Legends, and today we're going to talk about the 10 times summon event coming up this Friday. And the theme of this 10 times summon is going to be partner champions. So if you don't know what a partner champion is, it's pretty much a pair of champions that get additional abilities or passives as long as they're on the same team. It's always been a very cool concept in my eyes. Unfortunately, I do not have any of the partner champions, but we're going to go through all of the ones that will be included in the summon. I believe there's going to be 10, so pretty much 5 pairs, right? But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into it because we know that's why you guys are all here. And then I'll give you my opinion on if you should be summoning in a 10 times event. Now, do remember when doing a 10 times summon event, the chances of getting the higher rarities do not go up. So if you go in here and you click on the eye under the summoning portal, just realize that none of these like chances, like the 8% chance and stuff like that, they do not go up during the 10 times summon event. The only thing that goes up is like if you pull an epic, then you have 10 times the chance to get the epic specified in the 10 times event. So just keep that in mind. I know there's a couple people that pull during a 10 times event and they are disappointed because maybe they didn't get that legendary that they wanted or that epic they wanted. Realize that you still only have a 0.5% chance if you're pulling Ancients and Voids, and still a 6% chance if you're pulling Sacreds. Just keep that in mind, guys. I don't want you guys pulling shards if you don't know about that. So yeah, but yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the champions. So right off the bat, there are a couple in sacred order. So the very first one we're going to do is Tallia and Fenax. So Tallia, epic attack champion, very cool weapon, and honestly a very cool looking champion. Um, attack one enemy 3 times on the A1, hack and slash. On the A2, you have Rise to Duty. Place a 25% increase attack buff and a 30% increase crit rate buff on this champion for 2 turns, and then tax all enemies. And then her partner passive is going to be has a 75% chance of placing a bomb debuff that will detonate after 3 turns when Fenax is on the same team. So overall, the ability is not bad. It actually hits very hard. She's typically known for this ability as an arena nuker, pretty much. Now, when it comes to her partner passive, the whole bomb placement is not that great. If you guys have been playing Raid for a while, you know bombs are just in a bad spot right now. So yeah, placing bombs, not the greatest partner ability in the world. But yeah, and then on the A3, Awesome Presence places a counterattack buff on this champion for 2 turns, and then has a 100% chance if you book it of placing a weaken debuff on enemies for 2 turns. And you can drop it down to a 5-turn cooldown. And then the Aura, ally crit rate in dungeons by 15%. Overall, not a bad champion by herself. Definitely known for the A2 and nuking down people. I used her actually in my Sacred Order Faction Wars and Secret Room, and she did very well. She definitely did a lot of damage. But when it comes to her partner ability of placing a bomb, not that great. And then let's look at her partner Fenax. So Fenax, an attack epic, once again, on the A1, which is pretty much what he's known for. Put down, attack one enemy, places an extra hit if the target has any debuffs. Enemies killed by the skill cannot be revived. Honestly, Fenax hits like a truck, and having this block revive on an A1 is really cool. Definitely known for going into Ice Golem and killing the guards, and then prevents the guards from being revived. So it makes the Ice Golem a very quick run, and honestly, he has no issues usually killing the guards with the A1 just because it hits so hard. Then we have the A2, Stern Partner, attack all enemies, has a 80% chance if you book it of placing a block of buffs debuff for 2 turns, and or places a block cooldown skill debuff for 1 turn if you didn't place the block buffs debuff. Pretty cool ability, nothing too crazy though. And then his partner passive is going to be decrease bomb debuff detonation countdowns by 1 turn when Tallia is on the same team when this hits. Once again, is based around bombs, so you're dropping Talia's 3-turn countdown down to a 2-turn countdown. Still has to wait for the the next 2 turns. Overall, not that great. Like I said, um, just not a great partnership. And then on the A3, the attack one enemy has a 60% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense debuff and a 30% decreased speed debuff for 2 turns. And you can drop it down to a 4-turn cooldown. Definitely not a bad ability, especially for stuff like Ice Golem, where if you hit him with the decreased speed and decreased defense, you're already hitting hard, and then you're dropping turn meter speed from going up. So yeah, overall not a bad champion. Both champions, Phoenix and Tallia, are really good by themselves. They really don't gain too much by being on the same team. You get Tallia to add a bomb detonation, and then you have Phoenix dropping the detonation countdown. So nothing too big in my opinion, but really just a cool partnership. Next one is going to be Juliana and Romero. So Romeo, Juliet, one of the coolest looking champions in the game in my opinion. I just like the armor. So attack based champion. On the A1, attack one enemy 2 times. Each critical hit fills this champion's turn meter by 10%. So pretty much a 20% turn meter increase on the A1, because you're going to build her to have full 100% crit. On the A2, places a 30% increased crit rate buff on this champion, then attack one enemy 2 times, places a 5% poison debuff on the target for 3 turns if this attack is critical. And then her partner passive is going to be will ignore 50% of the target's defense when Romero is on the same team. Honestly, not that bad of a passive, but once again, nothing game breaking, just makes her hit harder. And then on the A3, attack one enemy has remove 1 random buff from the target, and then has a 100% chance if you book it of placing HP burn debuff for 3 turns. Overall, a really cool kit just because of the fact that you have the A3 with an HP burn and A2 with a poison, and then you have turn meter increase for yourself on the A1. Unfortunately, though, there are just better people in her position. Now, she does bring both poison and HP burn, which is semi-rare, but if you're looking just for like a poison champion or an HP burn champion, there just are better champions out there, unfortunately. And then you have her aura, ally crit rate in arena battles by 20%. Typically, you're not looking for that type of aura for arena. You're usually looking for some type of survivability aura or some type of speed aura. So that is definitely not going to be something you're looking for. Overall, though, really cool champion. She was actually one of my very first epic champions that I leveled, and she served me very well. So pretty cool. Then let's look at her partner, which is Romero. So Romero, defense type champion, but very much on the support side. So A1, attack one enemy, places a low version of continuous heal buff on an ally with the lowest HP for 1 turn. Not that bad. I wish it was the big version of continuous heal, but it is on an A1 ability, so I guess it's okay. On the A2, places a 15% continuous heal buff on all allies for 2 turns, and then steals a buff from a random enemy. You can drop this down to 4 turns, so pretty much an AoE continuous heal. Unfortunately, it is on a 4-turn cooldown if you book it, so you still have pretty much 2 turns that you don't have a continuous heal buff that's being placed. On the A3, places a shield buff on all allies equal to 25% of their max HP for 2 turns, and then places a low version of an increased defense buff on this champion for 2 turns. You can increase the shield amount and drop the cooldown to 5 turns. Overall, in my opinion, a very mediocre ability. I wish it was based off of his max HP maybe, just so then you can control the shield a little bit more. And then right here, I wish it was the big version of increased defense, but overall not a terrible ability, but definitely not the best. And then you have his ability that he actually gains if you have Juliana on the team, which is Stalwart Partner, attacks all enemies 3 times. Kind of a weird partner ability just because he's a very support type champion. So just adding in an attack all enemies 3 times ability when you have Juliana on the field or on the same team is a little bit odd to me. But yeah, not bad, not the best. Yeah, definitely a cool concept with Romeo and Juliet. But yeah, the partnership is not too amazing. And then we have one of the best partnerships I think in the game, and that is going to be Venus and Cupidus. So Venus, I think everyone knows about Venus, legendary Void champion. On the A1, she's going to be a support type champion, by the way. On the A1, attack one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 50% chance of placing a 5% poison debuff for 2 turns. Really cool ability. Can possibly, put up 2 poisons, the big version of poisons as well. On the A2, pretty much what she's known for, blind with infatuation, attacks all enemies, has a 100% chance if you book it of placing a 60% decreased defense debuff and a 25% weaken debuff for 2 turns. Honestly, awesome ability, definitely what she's known for. The decreased defense and weaken on the same ability is just huge for a lot of people, so really cool. And then on the A3, you have Burning Passion. Attack all enemies, has a 75% chance if you book it of placing HP burn debuff for 2 turns. Really cool AoE HP burn along with a poison on the A1. Really awesome. And then her passive for having a partner, or the ability actually that she gains for having Cupidus on the team, is going to be removes all buffs from all enemies, and then has a 50% chance of granting an extra turn. So pretty much just buff strips everyone on the enemy team and then can get an additional turn, which is pretty huge. Yeah. And then her aura, increase ally HP in all battles by 33%. Overall, ridiculous legendary, S tier legendary in my opinion. Yeah, overall there's not really much to say, but yeah. And then let's look at the partner, Cupidus. So Cupidus, at an attack, legendary champion. And then so on the A1, Heartbreaker, attack all enemies, damage increased by 15% if the target has any debuffs. If you're pairing it with Venus, pretty much always going to have a debuff on the targets, so you're always going to get that increased damage buff. Flames of Passion on the A2, attack 3 enemies at random. Each hit has a 75% chance if you book it of placing HP burn debuff for 2 turns. Overall, this is the part that I don't like about having Cupidus and Venus in the same team, and that is just they both apply HP burns, and you can only have 1 HP burn up, so it's a little bit odd to me, but they kind of like counteract each other there. On the A3, you have Flame Out. Place a 50% increased attack buff on this champion for 2 turns, and then attacks 1 enemy. Has a 50% chance of placing HP burn debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. If this attack kills an enemy, the debuff cannot be resisted, which is kind of cool, and you can drop this down to a 3-turn cooldown if you book it. And then his passive, when Venus is on the same team, attacks inflict 25% more damage to targets under debuffs, which is huge. Overall, Cupidus already hits very hard, so adding Venus into the mix with the drop defense and weaken, you're getting this passive already by doing that, so you're going to inflict 25% more damage here. And then on the A1, you're getting that 15% increased damage if they have debuffs, so yeah, you're just going to hit like a massive truck. And then the aura, increase ally attack in all battles by 33%. Which is a decent aura. Can use it in Doom Tower and whatnot. Overall, probably one of my favorite partner champions, or both, like the pair. They just do a ridiculous amount of damage together. But yeah, really cool. Definitely, I would say if you own one of these, I would definitely go for the other, because I think it can actually be a game changer in my opinion. But yeah. Alright, let's go on to the next pair, which is going to be a Skinwalker and a Bannerlord. So let's go drop over to Skinwalkers first, and we're going to look at Khoronar. So it's going to be Khoronar and Minaya, Beauty and the Beast, if you guys didn't know. So yeah, Khoronar is going to be another Void legendary champion. Looks really cool. You can see like the Beast reference right here with his cape. And then obviously him looking like a beast. But yeah, HP based champion. So on the A1, attack all enemies, has a 50% chance of decreasing each target's turn meter by 5%. Attack all enemies 2 times instead of 1, and the chances of decreasing target's turn meter increases to 100%. if Minaya is on the same team, the damage of each hit will be decreased by 50%. So really cool ability, can drop turn meter, definitely dropping turn meter if you have Minaya on the same team. So really cool A1. The A2 has a 100% chance if you book it of placing a provoke debuff on all enemies for 1 turn, places a block debuffs buff and 60% increased defense buff on this champion for 2 turns. So really cool AoE provoke and increased defense, so he survives. And then another piece of having Minaya on the same team removes all debuffs from this champion before placing the block debuffs and increased defense buffs if Minaya is on the same team. Overall, Khoronar benefits from having Minaya on the same team so much, so it's a really cool partner champion pair. On the A3, you have Battle Waltz, attack all enemies, places a 50% decrease attack debuff on all enemies for 2 turns, then places a 60% decrease defense buff on targets under decrease attack. And then you could drop this down to a 4-turn cooldown. Overall, really cool ability, has a decrease attack and decrease defense, which is very rare in my opinion, so really cool to see, especially on a Void champion. Very awesome. And then you have his first passive, Ferocious Guard. Counter attacks when hit by enemies under decrease attack, decrease defense, or decrease speed. Will always counterattack when hit if Minaya is on the same team. Really very well paired with Minaya, and then you're placing a provoke on the A2, so always going to be pretty much counterattacking. And then on the other passive, Spectacle, places a 60% increased defense buff on all allies for 2 turns if this champion kills an enemy. Not the best passive in my opinion, just because I don't know how many enemies he's actually going to be killing. I guess he is counterattacking a decent amount as well though, but yeah, overall really cool champion. I actually have always wanted a Khoronar, even without the Minaya, just because he had really cool abilities. But yeah, overall a very cool champion, awesome looking champion. But yeah, let's go jump over to Minaya, which Minaya is going to be in the Bannerlord area, and yep, Beauty and the Beast. So looks more like Snow White, but yeah. On the A1, Graceful Guide, attack one enemy, places a 15% continuous heal buff on the ally with the lowest HP for 2 turns. Pretty cool ability on the A1. On the A2, Mending Ways, attack one enemy, heals this champion and the ally with the lowest HP by 10,000 HP, and then has a 100% chance of placing a 100% heal reduction debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. Obviously, it's only a 100% chance if you book it, and you can get this down to a 3-turn cooldown. Nothing too crazy. I do like the heal portion of this, but the heal reduction part, nothing too big. I guess more or less in PvP, which is probably where this pair is going to do the best. Is pretty cool. On the A3, Beauty's Allure, heal all allies by 40% of their max HP, really big. Places a block debuffs buff for 2 turns on champions under increased defense buffs. Pairs very well with Khoronar if you get the increased defense. And then if a champion is fully healed by this skill, also places a shield buff on them for 2 turns equal to 25% of the champion's max HP. You can increase the heal and drop the cooldown by 2 turns if you book her. Overall, very cool support type ability. But yeah. Then you have the passive, which is with Khoronar, Lover's Sacrifice. Well, part of it's with Khoronar, I should say. Can drop it down to a 4-turn cooldown, fill the turn meters of all allies by 20% when this champion is killed, and then revives this champion with 75% HP when killed if Khoronar is on the same team. So it gets a free revive, so you're going to get this filled turn meter portion, and then she's going to revive, which is really awesome and really actually huge, especially for a support type champion. And then you have a aura, increase ally speed in all battles by 19%. Not a bad aura, not the best speed aura in the game, but it is in all battles, so it can be used anywhere. Overall, really cool aesthetic champion, very cool support kit, and honestly probably one of my favorite partner combinations, just because they play off of each other so well. Obviously, Venus Cupidus was very like I just hit harder by being partners. Um, Minaya and Khoronar, they just mesh so well with how their abilities work, and they play off of each other. So that's really cool. And the last pair is going to be a Zavia and Belanor. So let's go ahead and jump over to Zavia. I think everyone knows about Zavia, but we'll go over her anyway. Really cool champion. I actually recently just got her, so I was very excited about it. So attack-based champion for Dark Elves. Attack on the A1. Transfix. Attack one enemy 3 times. Each hit has a 40% chance of placing a 5% poison debuff for 2 turns. Really cool ability. Triple hits, really nice. On the A2, Poison Rain. Attack all enemies 2 times. Each hit has a 50% chance or a 75% chance if you book her, placing a 5% poison debuff for 2 turns. Really cool, especially on waves where she can possibly blow them up with her other abilities. But yeah. Then you have on the A3, which is what she's kind of known for, mainly. Deadly Catalyst. Attack all enemies. Enemies killed by this skill cannot be revived, which is huge, especially in Doom Tower. Deals damage from all poison debuffs on the target instantly. Poison debuffs will only deal half of the standard damage when the skill hits bosses. Um, nothing bad about it. Still does a ridiculous amount of damage on bosses. But yeah. And then the partnership ability is going to be Cladamus Partner. I'm probably saying that wrong, guys, so yeah. Attack one enemy, applies a debuff spread effect, taking 4 random debuffs from the target and placing them on all enemies, only available if Belanor is on the same team. So this is going to allow her to spread poison if there is not the poison debuff already. And then the aura, increase ally attack in all battles by 33%. Really good aura, can be used anywhere. Overall, she is an extremely good champion, definitely known for like blowing stuff up like Dragon or even Spider. But yeah, overall, extremely cool champion. The sorry, the passive part with Belanor is actually pretty cool. It will make a little bit more sense once we jump into Belanor, so let's go ahead and do that right now. So Zavia is a dark elf, but Belanor is a high elf, which is honestly just a really cool lore part because you have like pretty much a fallen angel and a regular angel. So yeah. So Belanor, right over here, attack legendary, looks kind of cool. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the abilities. So A1, Sword Leader, attack one enemy, places a 30% increased crit rate buff on all allies for 1 turn if this attack is critical. So yeah, kind of a cool little aura there. Well, I consider an aura just because you're using it to increase everyone else's crit rate. And it's on A1, so it's pretty much always going to be happening. On the A2, Insurmountable, places a perfect veil buff on this champion for 2 turns, then places a decreased defense, big version debuff, and a 25% weaken debuff for 2 turns on a target enemy, then attacks them. This is actually a really cool thing just because you are placing it, so you have a 100% chance to hit it as long as you have the accuracy to put it on. He honestly also hits like a truck, so that's really a big plus on him. On the A3, you have Overkill. Attack one enemy, will attack the enemy with the lowest HP with any surplus damage. If this attack kills an enemy, the surplus damage cannot be critical. Overall, another just hard-hitting ability. Can drop it down to 3 turns. Really kind of cool ability with the whole surplus damage portion of it, but yeah. And then the Tactical Partner, which is his partner ability. Activate this champion's Sword Leader skill, which is his A1. And then also activates Zavia's Poison Rain skill when Zavia is on the same team. So we'll kind of revisit Zavia in just a second, but yeah. And then you have the aura, increase ally crit rate in all battles by 24%. Nothing bad, but nothing too great. Overall though, Belanor by himself hits like a truck, and is really nice to have the decreased defense and weaken, and pretty much has a 100% chance to place it. So that's really nice. So his partner ability is going to activate his A1, which will trigger the increased crit rate as long as you're critting. But it also activates Zavia's Poison Rain skill. So if we go back over to Zavia's Poison Rain, is this one, which attacks all enemies 2 times, and then each hit has a 50% chance of placing a poison, or the higher 75% chance if you book her. So that's really cool. So you trigger, so you're A1ing with Belanor, increasing everyone's crit rate. You're also activating Zavia's AoE ability to add even more poisons to everyone. And then Zavia also has her ability, which can do a debuff spread, which can spread possibly more poisons to everyone. Overall, really cool partnership, really cool interaction. Unfortunately, I don't have them both, but I have seen it happen, which is really cool. So I think out of all the partners, I would probably be going for this one just because I have a Zavia. But yeah, that is all for all the champions on this 10 times event. Overall, really cool concept. Partner champions in general. The 10 times event. So when it comes to summoning, unfortunately, a lot of the good ones are going to be legendary, and you don't have a higher chance of getting a legendary. So I would say unless you have one of the partners and you are really wanting to get the other partner, then it's worth summoning. Otherwise, 10 times events are always iffy, guys, so definitely keep that in mind. If any of these caught your eye, though, definitely keep a lookout, especially if you have one of the partners. Like for me, since I have Zavia, I might go for Belanor. But yeah, like things like Venus Cupidus, if you don't have either of them, they're two legendaries, so the chances of you getting both of them are slim to none. Now, if obviously you're going for like Venus specifically and you just want to pop some void shards, maybe. It's not that bad of an idea, but do remember next week is most likely a 2 times void as long as we're keeping to the same schedule. So popping void shards this week is a little bit not, well, I shouldn't say a little bit, but it's just not that great of an idea, I should say. So yeah, overall, I like the whole theme of this 10 times, but unless it's going to benefit you highly, I would say skip it. But yeah, that is just my opinion. Let me know down below if you guys are going to be summoning during this event, or if you have a particular partner pair that you actually like in this game. But yeah, that is it for the video, guys. I will talk to you guys later, and I hope that you guys have good luck summoning if you do. See you later.